Back with another train video today. The Wisconsin and Southern 2002 is back in the shop because it's not putting out smoke. Let's see if we can't get that fixed. All right, we've got the WSOR back on the bench again today. Today we've got a no smoke issue. So when the engine's running, it's supposed to make smoke out of the little smokestack here, but that's not happening. So let's see if we can't get to the bottom of that. So first thing to do, we're going to take it apart. All right, so this is the smokestack here. Now this particular engine has recently been filled with mineral oil, so that shouldn't be an issue. All right, so we got the engine on. Now I'm going to take my multimeter here, and let's check for some voltages across both the heating coils and the blower motor.
Checked out A-OK.
About 1.6 volts on the heating coils. That should be the same here. Yeah, somewhere around 1.6. So now we want to check the blower fan, the blower motor here, and see if we're getting voltage on that. And to do that, I think we need to take this assembly off. So let's remove, looks like there's 4 screws holding this on. Oh, actually this might just come off. So here's the heat shield. And yes, oh, and there's the wick coming out. Oh, and we've got some scorch marks on the wick as well. I don't know if you can see that, but definitely some burning here. All right. Well, with this exposed, let's check the voltage on the motor. Well, we have given it power here. So let's see if the motor is spinning. I think to do that, we'll have to take these other 2 screws off. And here's the pad that goes between the tank, I guess you could call it, for the mineral spirits, and then the blower motor itself. Let's take these last 2 screws off here. So there is our blower. So let's give it some power and see if we see this thing spinning. It does not seem to be spinning. Alright, so let's check that. Let's check that for power and see if we have anything there. We're getting about 4 volts on the motor itself. Alright, so we're getting power there, but not getting any spin. So that seems to most likely be the problem. So I think we will need to replace this motor. So, since it's AC, I don't think it matters. Well, I know. Since it's AC, it doesn't matter which way the wires go, so we can put the wires on either way. I'd like to make them match, but it's not quite an exact match motor, so I don't know if we'll be able to do that. Alright, so let's first desolder the existing motor so we have some room to work with. There's one side off, and 2 sides. Alright, so this is where the fan connects. This is the motor. I'm not entirely sure how it's held in there. It looks like there are some little tiny screws that are screwed into the motor itself. So I'm going to need a really small little screwdriver to get those out. This is a screwdriver used to take apart an iPhone. I'm going to get myself some light here so I can see what I'm working on. Yeah, and that fits in there. That should just unscrew. Alright. So we got the two screws out. Now we just need to disconnect the fan blades from it. I think that is probably just a pressure fit. I'm not 100% sure and I don't want to break it, but yeah, that came right out. Okay. Easy enough. So the screws are still in there. You can see them coming out the bottom. And there was this little gasket here. So I looked online and it said that a lot of the times the cause for this motor going bad is that it gets mineral oil in it and that fouls it. And you can take it all apart and clean it, but taking these apart and cleaning them is quite tricky. So I just decided to replace it. But I do see some residue of mineral oil on this little gasket, so I'm guessing that's probably exactly what happened. We got too much mineral oil on the motor, either from being transported on its side where it could leak in. There's not supposed to be liquid mineral oil in the reservoir here, but only supposed to be in the wick, but I think maybe it was overfilled, or who knows. Anyway, let's put our new motor in. Very gently push it in so we don't break the axle. And then we want to line up the screws and tighten those down. Hopefully we're lined up. Feels like it. All right, so we got one screw in. Tighten the second screw. All right, so we got our screws tightened. Spins freely, which is good. So then let's reconnect our wires here. Got green and white to reconnect. I'm going to use my jig to help me out since I only have two hands. Alright, so I'm just going to solder these back on. I'm going to get some solder on my tip first here. And I'm using the solder for holding this engine up, so luckily I have a third one. Melt a little bit. Alright, so that is the white one connected. Now we'll connect the green one. A little bit more solder in my tip here. Alright, that is the green one connected. Alright, so I got interrupted a little bit. It's been a couple days since I've been here, but I got everything reassembled. So let's go ahead and give it some power. And I can hear that fan running. So we should see some smoke coming out of it here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's definitely... Yeah, you can see it a little bit. There it goes. So yeah, there she goes. Smoking away. So let's get this guy buttoned back up and make sure everything's still working, and we'll call this one ready to go.